won't sand or scrape it. We'll just do what they call kind of running a screen over it, which is basically just hitting it with a buffer and then just trying to knock out the splinters out, any rough spots, and then just putting some type of finish on it so it still has that really rustic look and you're not taking too much away from the wood. So those are your textures. Again, scraping is going to lean itself a lot more towards active lifestyle, damage to the floor. You're not going to see it. Smooth sanded floors is what it is. You have to allow for it. That's the look right now. That's what everybody wants, but they're going to get scratched. So then you've got types of finish. Many types of finish. It's just like, paint or what have you, stains. There's polyurethane, which you're going to hear a lot about. Majority of floors are finished with polyurethane. Polyurethane comes in a water-based finish, or water-based polyurethane, and an oil-based polyurethane. The oil-based is kind of the one that's been done forever and ever and ever. The water-based came about with a lot of when stuff became more green, low VOCs, and it actually lends itself to the lighter colors. Because like if you took a floor, like maybe that one behind Laura, that's kind of got a white color to it. If you put an oil-based finish on that, it's going to turn yellow, and nobody wants that. So that's where the water-based finishes come in really great, is because they're clear, and so they don't change the color that much.
Now it doesn't just, it does yellow and deepen and darken on immediate application, but over time it yellows more and more and more. So that's called ambering. So the oil-based finish is going to amber over time and become more and more and more yellow. The water-based, it's not going to continue to change over time. It's going to retain that same consistency.
Yeah, I mean, water-based they will change too. Every floor is going to change. You can't stop the sun. I mean, the sun is going to change color. It's going to fade. But oil-based, will yellow much quicker. So we use a lot of oil-based, but only on brown type, like this kind of stuff, like this oil-based poly, oil-based finishes, because they have a lot of depth and richness to them. They really are probably better looking, but they really only work with darker floors. Those are your polyurethanes. Most floor finishers, floor companies, that's pretty much all they offer. The time it's water-based now, because the water-based finish dries in an hour to 2 hours, and so they can put multiple coats on in a day, finish the job faster, get paid faster. Where oil-based, you put a coat on, you've got to wait till the next day to put the next coat on, so it takes much longer to dry. And then we touched on high rises earlier. Pretty much all high rises now are going to be water-based finishes because of the odor. It doesn't have near the odor, and it dries in about an hour. The VOC counts are low. So there is also traditional wax finishes, which again, you're not going to find a lot of people that actually know how to do it anymore or want to do it, but that was the way floors were finished forever and ever and ever. There's kind of the beauty to wax is you can wax and buff your floors and make them look almost new again, annually, every 5 years, whatever. So you can refurbish the floor and make it look great without having to ever refinish it, but
We're calling a professional even.
But that's maintenance, and some people hear the word maintenance and they want nothing to do with it. And then you have the hard wax oils, which are kind of a hybrid between the two. You can clean it like polyurethane. You can re-oil the floors like wax for maintenance purposes. This is a European thing. The European finishes have really gotten big over here in the last 7-8 years. There's a lot of them on the market, and a lot of them don't work. There is probably 2 or 3 of them that are actually good quality products. The rest of them have zero durability. It's constant maintenance work. I mean, you can drop water on them, they water spot. You can get some nice colors out of them, but they're not functional whatsoever. If you stain and finish are different. So stains would be your color, and then polyurethane is your finish, or wax, or those are your finishes. Polyurethanes you can't touch up. All you can do is clean them, because like I say, it's basically a sheet of plastic. So if you ever try to do repairs, and we do them all the time, but it takes somebody that's really good at repair work and spot finish work. More often than not, you see people try to do repairs of polyurethane, and you're going to see where they try to do the repair because the color's not the same, the sheen level's not the same. European oils, you can do more spot areas. Some of them work good. Again, some of them do not. They say you can go back 5 years and the color won't change, and that's not true. But some of the new technology seems to be different. It's not quite out yet, but it's coming. So we've been looking at some new things, but they're not here yet. But there's some new finishes coming that seem to think they're going to be kind of game changing as far as floor work goes. Something I didn't mention is on polyurethanes, it's like paint. You've got matte, satin, semi-gloss, and gloss, so you can pick your sheen level as well. With a wax finish, it just is what it is. It's usually going to be shiny when you start, and it's going to fade. With the European oils, most of them are designed to be very matte and flat finishes. The beauty of a matte finish too, if you're looking for, a heavy lifestyle or lots of kids' dogs, the more or the less sheen you have, the less it's going to show imperfections, because basically it's just the light bouncing off of the finish. So if you have a dead flat floor and the light doesn't reflect off of it, you're not going to see a lot of scratches and stuff. If it's very shiny and the light bounces off, you're going to see everything.
And say you have you start with a floor that has used oil base. The only way to then use a water base would be to sand it down and refinish it? Or?
Okay, well, no. So you can do what's called screening and recoating. So you basically take a buffer and what looks like a window screen, you put that on the bottom, or some people use like really high grit sandpaper, and you go over the entire floor and you kind of rough up that existing finish coat, and then you put down new finish coat and it will adhere to the old. Now, there is time frames though you've got to, like you can put water base on top of oil base, but I think you have to wait like 30 days before you did it. So if we went into a job and finished it with all oil based and the homeowner came and said, I don't like it, I want this look instead, but you've got to wait 30 days to put the water base on top or it won't stick. You'll hear people say, hey, I need you to come wax my floors. And a lot of times those floors are polyurethane, but a lot of floor guys will just run over and say, sure, and they'll wax their floors, make them look nice and shiny. Well, the problem is it's like waxing plastic. So it's going to be very slippery.
Yeah.
It's going to scuff very easily. And then once that's happened, you're really in a bind of getting it off and trying to put like polyurethane on, because it's usually at that point you're probably gonna have to refinish the floors.
So would you say reclaimed wood is more expensive than any other?
It's going to be, well, it depends on the source, but yes, it is expensive because there's a lot of people involved in, you've got people that go and take these barns down and buildings down, and then you've got people that are milling it, and then so there's a lot of hands involved in getting it to flooring. And since there's obviously it's a finite resource, at some point there's not going to be any more of it, it is more expensive. Now it's not going to be the most expensive flooring, but it's going to be certainly more than a new piece of oak.
Installation, like installing some of these bigger patterns, is that something that you do, your people cut it on site, or are you making these patterns beforehand?
Okay, so like on the floor, for instance, any kind of pattern that has a band around it, so it's an actual square. Yeah, so see how they've got bands all the way around them? So we will assemble those in the square. So like we would take them out to the job like that.
Okay.
Unfinished, obviously, but that's what they would look like when we took them out to the job. So we're just laying them down like 8 to 10 square feet at a time in the panels. This is green. That's a greener product. A lot of the hard wax oils are actually low VOC. Most of them are made out of plant-based oils, so they're environmentally friendly. As far as flooring goes, that's kind of a renewable that grows fast, you're looking at cork and bamboo. Those are kind of the flooring options that grow fast. Trees obviously don't grow that fast. So cork is actually basically the bark of the tree. It's just stripped off the tree every year, then the bark grows back. Most of it comes out of Spain. Bamboo, most of it's coming out of China, and it grows very fast, but it has to be, the bamboo has to be, I think it's like 4 years old before it can actually be stable enough to be turned into flooring. So we don't do much with bamboo because there is a lot of issues with it, and if it's, again, not aged properly, it just, there's a lot of problems that have come up with bamboo, so we just don't do it. But it is very green because it grows fast, and it's actually very hard too. Those are your green, I guess, renewable options.
And so I'm just curious, do you work a lot with designers?
We work with actually everybody. I mean, a homeowner could come in here, an architect, a designer, contractor. I would say more we don't get a lot of actual builders coming in here. Occasionally you'll see some, but usually those builders are builders that we do their floor work exclusively, so they may bring their customer in here and say, these are my floor guys, look around. More often than not, it's the designer that's in here with the homeowner, speccing what they want, and then a lot of times the design firm will tell the builder, if it's a specialty thing, say, you need to call them, this is what we're doing, so on and so forth. If it's a regular floor, as far as like, you as the designer make the contractor, when I say, here's my floor guy, you tell him what you want, he'll go get it, but that's
They're not gonna get it from us.
Right, that's who you're using.
Okay.
So
you have people to install as well.
Oh yeah,
We are the turnkey.
Yeah, we do the whole thing.
Okay.
And we do a lot of out of town work. It's really probably designers are going to be the most people that are in here. Designers and homeowners. Don't get a lot of architects in here because they usually are not concerned about the finishes. So it's mostly designers and homeowners that are in here.
And do you have on the website? Can you like buy stuff online, or you can stuff?
No.
No shopping cart.
Yeah, there's no shopping cart, no virtual mall or what have you.
So as a designer, we could hire you to come and measure the space, and then you would give us a quote, or is that the only way to get a quote? Just to have you come?
Well, so there's we can go measure the space, especially if it's like an existing remodel or whatever, office space or something. If it's a lot of new construction, we just usually work off the plans, and so we'll get it and it'll be marked up, wood floors here, or a pattern in this room, or what have you. We'll just do it that way.